Welcome to another edition of the Mr. Old Dude Wrenching Minutes. I'm Mr. Old Dude, and today what you see here is a window motor from a Ford Ranger. It was a 2002 Edge 3.0 extended cab, whatever. So, as you can see, I have the door panel off, and quite some time ago, the window motor failed, leaving this window not able to go up and down. It began dying somewhat slowly. Sometimes not willing to go up all the way, or basically we were lucky enough or fortunate enough that it died in the up position, and I've been able to put off doing this for several months. It's been a bit of a pain in the ass, you know. Can't go through the drive-thru to get coffee unless you want to go through backwards, or open the door when the girl opens the window to, you know, take your order. But anyway, so I finally got around to ordering another motor. Wife got pissed off, and so I went after it. So what we can see here is Ford built Ford Tough by Bosch. Oh, made in Mexico. Well, that explains a lot. Well, I don't know, it may or may not, but either way, in this case, I've once again come back to the conclusion that Ford engineers are a bunch of assholes, and I can say that because I went to school with a few of them, and at times they maybe weren't as smart as they could have been, or come up with some pretty dumb ideas. And they're at Ford, and they've still been at Ford, and they're still doing Ford products. So, I found another video that described the procedure for pulling out and replacing the window regulator unit for a Ford Ranger. Basically amounted to, you know, popping off the door panel. I will link this video simply because if you've gotten to this stage or you found this video and you need to do this yourself, you know, there's not really a whole lot to popping off the door panel. There's a couple screws and a couple screws here, and then basically there's some tabs and you just lift it out and off. Oh, and then there's one somewhere here, also on the door panel, that you have to remove. But anyway, that's not terribly important. You can watch that. So to get the window regulator and all these linkages and parts off, you have these 4 riveted in pieces. And what he said is, oh, get yourself a 5/8 drill and just drill the fucker out. That's a pain in the ass if you just need to replace the motor unit itself. So the motor unit, if we look back here, it has three screws or 3 bolts to mount it on. Now, if we look at these access holes, well, ignore this one for the time being. You have 1 and 2, and then there's a 3rd behind here, behind the sheet metal. Now, as you can kind of see, that hole is not factory. This was how it looked before I took the fucking angle grinder to it and opened it up, because they made my life, or would make my life, a giant pain in the ass if I had to drill off these 4 rivets and then, well, I don't know, rivet gun, or I'd have to, you know, bolt this linkage back to it, and there may be alignment issues, and I just didn't want to fuck with it. Oh, but instead, you know, at their stamping plant, they just could have put in one little hole here, and so I can take an 8mm socket and just 1, 2, 3, unclip the wiring harness, and it drops the fuck off. But no, you get 2, and oh, you'd have to get these here also. And there was a little bracket here which came off the original motor, and you undo this one too, and then this comes through. I took it off because I thought it might transfer, but it didn't. It's not the same, and it seems to fit fine. It seems to work fine. So, if you're going to do this yourself, long and short, get yourself an angle grinder, or once again, this is an 8mm bolt. If you can just drill a big enough hole in with, you know, a spade bit or something like that. Maybe get a light on it. Let's see if we can do this. No, that's no. Come on. So, right there. And then there's the other 3. So, and yeah, so what I found was my handy-dandy $20 Harbor Freight angle grinder was enough to cut a ragged-ass hole just to get in there and to get that open. And simply, since I can get those all 3 bolts off now, and it drops out, and I pull it right out, and then, you know, grease up the new one and drop it back in. And, oh, proof positive. Nope. Window goes down. And window goes back up. And it sounds like it really lifts up with authority. So this is a pretty good motor. Made in, of all places, Korea. So that's how you do that. Good luck. Catch you later. Bye.